here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have a phenomenal show lined up for you here tonight. The Mind, Body, Business Show is a show that I had developed with you in mind, the business person, the entrepreneur, the individual or company looking to get to that next level in their journey in growing their business. And I bring on only the best of the best. I bring on and interview very qualified and successful entrepreneurs from all over the world and tap into their brains to find out exactly what it is that is making them successful so that you can simply take their responses, their answers, and model them. It's that simple. You really don't have to make it too difficult. Find one recipe for success. There are many, but you only need one. Find one that matches your value system, that matches your style, and then grab on, hold on, and don't let go, and follow that recipe till you have achieved your level of success that you desire and that you deserve. And yes, the Mind, Body, Business Show, it's about what I call the 3 pillars of success, and they are the very namesake of this business. Mind is all about mindset. Body is about one taking care of oneself, meaning exercising regularly and what you are taking in, ingesting into your body, both through food and through drink. And then business is multifaceted. It involves the mastering of various skill sets that are required to create and build a successful business. Hey, if you're watching live, I see you coming on. Great. Come on in and take the load off and give us a shout out. Say hi. Let us know where you're from. We have a very special episode here tonight because I may be opening the microphone and I may be opening the video to select individuals who want to appear, who have diving and driving questions on business and how does one succeed in business. What are tips and tricks when it comes to live video shows like this one and automation? And there are so many great facets to business. And that's why we're talking about that, because business, it is so multifaceted. There are skill sets that one must master. And these skill sets include those like marketing, systematizing, team building, leadership, leveraging. It just goes on and on and on. There are so many skill sets that one should and could, or not could, but must master in order to build a thriving business, so that then you can also scale it and grow it, which requires even more skill sets beyond. The good news is you don't have to master every one of them. In fact, you personally, if you master just one of them, you could use that word I just mentioned, leverage, to then pull in other individuals who have either mastered those skill sets or are on the path to doing so. And that one skill set, if you were to just concentrate on one and master it first, no matter what you're mastering right now, pump the brakes and shift your focus to mastering the skill set of leadership. Once you have done that, you can, and you don't have to have completely, fully, wholly mastered it. Just put yourself down the path toward mastering it, even if you don't have a team right now. And that's a whole topic for a whole different time. But you can master leadership, and it's very important that you do, so that you can then bring in those individuals that have those skill sets that are required for your business to take off to that next level of success. And that is truly what the Mind, Body, Business Show is all about. I typically interview successful entrepreneurs from all over the world, and very successful ones. Yes. Oh, Rocco Baldassare. I hope I said that correctly, Rocco. My business mantra is a quote. I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening. Interesting. Very interesting way of looking at it, by listening. Fantastic. Thank you for coming on, Rocco. I appreciate your participation. Yeah, and we had a scheduled guest to come on. His name is, well, I won't say his name because I don't want to shame him or anything, because some things come up in life and we're unable to make our commitments, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We'll have him on another time. I was really excited to have him on. Looks like he may be a no-show. If he comes on here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, then we'll pull him up and he will be the star of the show. Until then, let's dive deep into business and what does it take for one to become successful. There are so many different wonderful areas. There's mentorship. There is learning those different skill sets. Mindset is huge. One of the biggest things that I learned in my journey, that I was all about strategy. I was all about turning the crank, doing the right thing, pressing button A before button B, before button C. What is the actual, what are the steps that I need to take, that I need to take in store to get to that end result of success? What are they? A, B, C, D. Line them up. What's the recipe? I'm just going to follow those, whatever they are. And I did not know for many years how important our minds are. And it's not the intelligence factor, has nothing to do with that. It's the emotional and what are you thinking about factor. It's how are you training your mind to think, and how have you trained your mind to think? We all have, whether we knew it or not. And once you have grasped a certain science that helps you to reprogram your mind for better, then you can really achieve anything your heart desires. And you realize if you just simply change your mind, change the way you think, and if you can do it at the subconscious level, then even more powerful. And that's when I learned about a particular science called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP for short. Highly recommend that if you have not gone through a course on NLP, that you find an amazing practitioner and do that. If you want, reach out to me. I know several that I could name off the top of my head. I know one in the United States. I know one in Greece that I would point you to. I know more than one, but I would point you to at least two specific individuals to help you in that arena. My mentor, who is no longer in that space, he taught me neurolinguistic programming from a business standpoint, and I ended up training his students from his stage, speaking from stage, all because I learned NLP at a deep level. I probably would not have gone up on stage had I not. And one of the training segments that we went through in the advanced courses that my mentor offered, I took every course I could get my hands on. For me, the pinnacle course, the one I wanted the most, was speaking from stage and using NLP to effectively do that. Not, with full integrity, not to misuse it, not to try to coerce people to do things or buy things. None of that. It's all with integrity. And learning NLP at a deep level and then taking that skill set and bringing it to the stage, that was a game changer. And now you know how to better communicate with individuals. Think about sales calls. Think about just conversing with your spouse, your significant other. Everything in your life, you'll find, improves at a very large level, and it's very amazing. So neurolinguistic programming, if you have not done anything in the area of working on your mindset, I highly recommend that's a place to start. There are other areas that you can go into. That one is the one that opened the veil of all possibilities in my life, and I did that around the age of, I think I was 47, around there, when I first really got immersed into what NLP was all about and started going to actual certification courses in it. And that was about 12 years ago. So yeah, I'm 59, almost 60 this year. Looking forward to that because every year is a victory. And so there are so many things to master in business. And I see and have been on the side of things where you struggle mightily. And I'll never forget this. Back in the day, gosh, going back it's a little bit more than those 12 years ago, about 14, 15 years ago. I remember I went to seminar after seminar after seminar. I used to live in California. I was near Los Angeles, and they had lots of venues and lots of entrepreneurs were putting on events. And I went to everything I could get. I have so many of those badges, the lanyards they put around your neck so you could enter once you paid to get in. That was your ticket to enter. And I kept I kept all of them that I was allowed to keep. Some of them would take them back after the show or after the event, but I have enough of those to put Mr. T to shame. If you remember Mr. T and his gold chains, I'm not kidding. They're thick as ropes, just massive amount of those. And I'll never forget this one time. There were several, but this one in particular, I was in the audience and the gentleman was up on stage talking about internet marketing. That was the rage, all the rage back in that time. There was no, there were no live shows. There were nothing live at all. Everything was recorded. There might have been some radio live streaming audio back in the day, but it was very, very archaic. Autoresponders were fairly new, the things that automatically sent out emails. And that was one of the big ones that they all touted, and that AI wasn't even thought of back then. And what I remember was, they were talking about how to craft your website. In today's age, we would call it the landing page, the first one, the one you want to have people focus on for a specific product or service. So, a website is something that has a nav bar with the home, about us, contact us, support, all those navigational things on the top. A landing page is more of a single, solitary, I want you to do one thing, one call to action, and only one. I'm not going to give you 20 links all around the page. There are places for websites, for sure, for full-blown websites, when you're trying to get someone to really hone in on a specific product or service. It's more of a landing page approach where there's no nav bars, there's no menus, there is a button, or there's a form to fill out, or a video to watch. There's only one thing you want them to do. And so they were talking about this concept of that landing page, with one that's specific to the product you're trying to sell. And they would talk about how to create multiple versions of that same page, in that things like change the color of the text of the title that you have on one versus the other, change the title itself, change the color of the buttons, change the font size, change the font type, change the price point on the order form, and all these different things. And they said, the reason for it, why was to give you the ability to what's called split test. And that means you could have if they go to one URL, one web address, they go to it, it would randomly, or not randomly, it would be on purpose, rotate and bring the next version of your site up. And then you would have tracking analytics in the background to see which of those is performing the best. Then you use that one after you get the data. And then I'd be sitting in the back and I'd be raising my hand all feebly because I was very, very introverted back then. Oh, you wouldn't know who I was back then. And I'd say, yeah, well, that's all great. And I have nothing against all this split testing, all this time and effort and money that goes into creating all these variations of that one web page. But I have a very rudimentary question behind that. If nobody clicks to see that page or any version of it, what good is it to begin with? If there's nobody to look at it, what does that mean? How do you get people to see your page to begin with? And that was the age-old question that nobody had a really viable answer for. There was no such thing as Facebook ads back in that time. There were no ads. And there might have been. I don't even remember if Google had, where you could pay to have a small snip on one side of the browser. This is going way back. Google AdWords, I think it was called. I don't even know if that existed yet. And so they didn't know how to answer it. They did answer it. They tried to answer it. They say form a JV partnership, joint venture partnership with somebody who has a large list, an email list. And I'm like, well, okay, that's easier said than done. I don't personally, I'm thinking, I don't personally know any of these big players in the market. And if I did, I don't know, I wouldn't know them very well, most likely. And who would I be to go ask them to send out my stuff and give them a tiny little affiliate fee of something if I sell something that's not proven? Here's the thing. When you go with a JV partner, someone that's got a big name and they're already crushing it, and you want to joint venture with them, they will do it if certain things are in place. Number one, you have to have a proven converting offer, meaning you must have sales already in the can. It's like going on to Shark Tank and, wanting all this investment money for your gadget, but you have zero sales. I don't know how many times you've seen that. If you've watched Shark Tank, they all look at each other like, why the heck are they even on this show? It's like, no, you have to show that you've got some proof that the market wants what you are offering. That's the bottom line. Yes. Oh, I like it. Reaching your peak, elevate your peak. That Rocco, that's also astute. Yes, I can tell Rocco has a great mind. He's thinking out of the box and on top of the box and above it. I love it. And so the age old question was, how do you get traffic to the site? That was the bottom line. How do you get it? So let's say you had a brick and mortar shop and you put in tens of thousands of dollars beautifying the facade, the outside. It's got all this incredible light fixtures. On the inside, you have the highest end flooring. You have the greatest displays. It's lit up. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's like walking into a single building that looks like Las Vegas, where it'll attract everybody. The thing is, you put all that money into the advertising, into the presence of your business. What if not a single person walked down the sidewalk and could even see it? What if there was no road that would drive by it and it was pedestrian only traffic and you could not get anyone to literally see all this great stuff you put in it? Then all that would have been done for nothing. I think you're getting the point. And so the age old question has been, how do you get traffic? Well, as time went on and technology got better, more advanced, and then we got this thing called, there was Google Ads, Google AdWords, and there were pay-per-click in there. There were then Facebook ads. YouTube came up with ads. Goodness, you can go almost anywhere now. I think LinkedIn has ads. And now you had a way. You had a way to literally almost force traffic to your site. Now, here comes the rub. Here is most of the people that are looking for this traffic who have not cracked that code yet, who haven't built that massive list, are in that pickle because they are starting out and they haven't figured it out yet. And so with that, they're not making a lot of money. They're not making a lot of money. They don't have a lot of money to spend on ads. I went down this path. I began making money, and I actually poured a lot of money into Facebook ads. This is going back, my gosh, quite a few years now. And I mean, to the tune of $10,000 a month for 3 months for one specific ad agency. And for me, and I did this 3 different times on 3 different occasions. And for me, all 3 of them were utter dismal failures. the money was just gone. And the 10 grand didn't even pay for the ad spend, by the way. That was just for the agency to do their work, of which they did a lot of work. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about anyone in this journey. It's just that the struggle is real. And I get that. The struggle is there for those who have not figured it out, who have not found that one JV partner that will be willing to take them by the bootstraps and help them out. And when it comes down to it, it's about putting your skin in the game. Is whatever you have available is to invest. And I know it is a tough decision for a lot of people. The thing is when you make that decision, when you put it out there, when you put out that risk, you seem to work a little harder at getting the solution, don't you? And that's why they call it putting skin in the game. But getting back to the point of how do you get eyeballs to your product or service, this is still an issue for that very reason, that it's not as achievable for those who don't have a huge advertising or marketing budget. Most are barely have enough to pay for the web hosting, the autoresponder services, the chat bots, whatever they're using for their marketing to begin with, let alone add on, okay, now I need to get people to come to the site and actually look at my product or service. So now we need to say, well, what can we do? What can we do to help that person? And then an amazing thing happened. I have a friend that I met. This is back during that exact time, around 14, 15 years ago. I met this guy for the first time. He showed up differently than other people did to these seminars. Back then, most men were dressed similarly to the way I am right now, with business casual, meaning a blazer or something close to it. This gentleman showed up in a tank top, shorts, and flip-flops and sat in the back of the room next to where I was sitting a few chairs down. I'm like, who's this guy? What does he think he is? What? He's disrespecting. What's going on here? And then we met him. I was there with a business partner, and we had a lunch break. We went down 2 doors to this is in LAX area, Los Angeles International Airport, Century Boulevard. And we went down 2 doors, and we stood in line at a sandwich shop for lunch, and there he was, right in front of us. And we just struck up a conversation that, oh my God, I like this guy. Well, he ended up being one of the guest speakers at that event later on. And so he was very comfortable being who he was and where he was. What it turned out to be was this gentleman had become a search engine optimization guru, not just an expert, and flat out bona fide guru, which means the experts came to him for advice. In fact, at one point, he had hit such a pinnacle in his industry, in his game. Google themselves invited him to visit their facility to help them with search engine optimization related activities. Unbelievable gentleman, and the most authentic, kind. He looks and sounds and acts meek. He's a shrewd businessman under the hood. Phenomenal guy. This past Thanksgiving, there's a point to all this, I promise you. This past Thanksgiving, just 2023, he came on into a very small group of people that were meeting. It was, I think, around 300 people or so on a Zoom call. And he made an announcement. And he's about my age. He just turned 60 himself. And I'll be 60 here in a few months. He said, he came on, he said, well, I have an announcement. I'm letting everybody here know, after 25 years and millions of dollars of business, I'm quitting SEO. And I leaned in. I'm like, oh my God, my first thought is, are you dying? Did you get a terminal disease? What is happening here? Because this was his bread and butter. This was everything. He had a great lifestyle. He has a boat, a nice large boat in Newport, in California, off the California coast. He's got the dream lifestyle. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? He said, no, is SEO bad? He said, no. Does it no longer work? No, it still works. He goes, what's wrong with it is it's just too much of a pain in the, and I'll let you fill in that last word, starts with A. And he said, I found something better. I found something easier. I found something that won't cost an arm and a leg. And I'm like, whoa. And so he went on to explain how the concept works. And so he found a group of individuals who had developed a system. And yes, it is powered by AI. And for those of you that are going, oh my gosh, here we go again, eyes rolling in the back of your head. I get those feelings now and then myself. I am now to the point where it's like, we better pull up our pants and our tighten our skirts, whatever the case may be, to come to the realization that AI is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's going to be more prevalent in our lives over time. And businesses that embrace it will be the ones that survive. Those that don't, they are going to be in for a rough road coming up. This is just not me, in my opinion. I've been really diving into everything about AI from different experts. Nobody knows. Nobody has a crystal ball, but a lot I've heard from experts who have successfully predicted things, not just because they're mind readers, but they are intelligent and understand ebbs and flow of business and cycles. And it's a long story. So AI is here to stay. And so embrace it as soon as you possibly can, learn it. Your business may suffer the consequences if you don't. So I would advise you all to really get, at least start with something like ChatGPT, get proficient at it, learn it. There are so many great videos all over the internet about how to use ChatGPT and prompts, and you literally you learn by doing. You learn by typing things in, by asking it questions. It's a phenomenal tool. I've used it quite extensively now, and I've grown to like it. It's really helped me in my business already. This gentleman talked about this group that he found that had developed an AI-driven, AI-powered system. Here's how it goes. You, the business owner who are looking for leads, you put in a series of 2-word keywords. They're just two words that you think your avatar, your ideal client, would be searching for, that you want them to be searching for, that has your product in mind. If it's solar, maybe it's solar panels, or cheap electricity, or any kind of variation, and do the research on the keywords using something like ChatGPT. And we can go into that in greater detail some other day. There's a cool science and approach to how do you come up with these keywords. It's not difficult. You put in a series of keywords and you click go. You turn the system on. And what does it do? It listens across the entire internet, millions of websites. And these are secondary search websites. What does that mean? It's not Google, it's not Yahoo, it's not Bing. It's even better because these are basically, if they did a search on Google, they found something, they clicked it, and then they go to that page where they're looking for that item, and then they do further searches. That's the one where this system is listening in. Let's think Zillow. I'm looking for a house or an apartment with, I forgot, is it apartments.com? There's another site. It could be you are looking for solar. So you're looking at a solar company's website, or you're looking at Home Depot or Lowe's for hardware, or insert industry here, and many other kinds of searches going on throughout the internet. Millions and millions and millions of searches. And according to this SEO guru, more searches are being executed on those secondary search sites than they are in Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Pretty amazing. And what happens is this system is listening. And when someone does a search that includes any of those keywords you had entered into it to search for, it wakes up and says, oh, there's a hit. And then it follows them. It follows them to find out what their next activities are. If they do 2 more actions, if they click or read, or, it'll know what it's reading by the contents of the page. Or if they engage in 2 activities that are related to that search term that they just typed in for search, then it will say, we now have a high intent buyer lead. Then the last thing it does, it says, all right, let's check this master database. Okay, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I didn't know this thing existed. It does. A master database that contains an untold number of individuals and their information on people who had opted in at some point, who said, I want to give permissions to advertisers to reach out to me. They've given their express permission. So this is 100% legal and legit. My buddy, SEO guru, wouldn't do this if it wasn't. If it finds them in the database, so the person, a search has occurred, it matches one of the keywords. 2 more actions have been in direct alignment with that actual search. And they said, okay, high intent buyer, are you in the database? Yes. That instant, at that very moment, that lead is delivered to you. And that's where the lead generation system stops. I found out about this in Thanksgiving, like I said. And when I learned of this, I said, oh my gosh. So now you have a lead. What happens? This lead is delivered to you in real time into a Google Sheet. So it's online. You have access to it. You have access to it. It includes the first name, the last name, up to 2 email addresses, up to 2 phone numbers, their mailing address, and their literal keyword phrase that they used in the search. Oh my, and it came in real time. So that's where that system stopped. And I used another system that I have been using for now several years called Peak Connector, which is the CRM side. So the leads come in. Now what do you do with them? It's a real-time lead. Well, we've now worked with this guru and his team, and they have integrated it with our CRM so that the moment that lead hits the sheet, it's also hitting our CRM. And the moment it hits our CRM, what are we doing? We email them instantly. So that person, even while they are still searching for what they're looking for, is getting an email. And you can put in there, and which we do, in the subject line. So it would be something like this. Quick question, and then first name. Regarding your recent search on, and then insert the keyword phrase they put in there, all done automatically. And they're going to go, my God, you've been reading my mind. What's going on? I mean, how many times have you been sitting around talking to a friend, a spouse, a significant other, and all of a sudden, Sharky Nest, I want to take my money. All of a sudden, you're talking, all of a sudden you go to your phone, you tap a couple things, and there's the very thing on your phone. They're trying to sell you something that you were just talking about. How many times has that happened to you? I mean, every one of us is raising our hand. We've all had that happen. And now if they get an email, they'll probably think, oh my gosh, they're watching what I'm doing. So it might freak them out a little bit, but at the same time, they're going to go, you know what? I want this thing right now. My emotional intent is very high. being astute business people, all of you who are watching the show, that people buy on emotion. When that emotion is its peak state, that is when they are at the right time to put whatever it is that you solve of their problems in front of them at that moment. Well, the cool thing is we're not pushing anything out like you would with a Facebook ad. We're not pushing out, hey, come check out my stuff. Look at my stuff. Look at my stuff and get it. And, many people profess to be annoyed by it. I kind of get, I enjoy it because I like to see what people are doing with their ads, and I learn from them, but they're pushing them out. Well, this one, when you're not pushing anything, instead you're accepting their request for information. They've asked for it. They put it in a search. And now you're emailing them saying, I may have what you're looking for. If you're interested, just reply to my email and I'll send you to a much more in-depth version that will explain to you in detail to see if it's a match that you can use this. So this is up and running now, and I'm very excited about it. Again, for those of you that are just tuning in, our guest was unable to make it. So I called an audible and said, the show must go on. We're going live. In fact, Sharky Nast, I think I know that person. If you want to come on camera and have a little chat, I would be more than happy to do that. If you're in a position where you can do that, I can send you the link, and everyone would see the link, and that's okay. But it'd be great to have a discussion about this. Any questions, open Q&A. The show is scheduled for an hour. We have about a half hour left. I don't have to fill the whole half hour, but I did want to bring this out because now the playing field has been leveled, meaning it is as easy now for those of you that may not have the financial wherewithal to pay ad agencies and have a large marketing budget. It's now possible to bring in leads at a very, very low rate. Yes, they still do cost money. Everything you do in life, if it's worth doing, it's going to come at some cost, whether it be money or time or other kind of resources. So yes, and it costs less per lead. All of that data I just told you, first name, last name, email address, phone numbers, all of that is included as one lead, and it costs less for that one lead through the system than it would for one click in a Facebook ad. If someone were to click your link, if you put a Facebook ad out there, you paid thousands of dollars either to an ad agency, maybe you tried it yourself, and then now you're paying for every click. You're going to pay more for that single click, which is not a lead. You're just paying and trusting Facebook that someone clicked your link and they're tracking it, and they're going to charge you that money. You don't even get their data yet. They have to then, when they click, they're going to your opt-in form somewhere, and then they need to look and see what they're looking at, and to show interest, they will opt in. Then they become a lead, but the click, you already paid for it. This comes at lower rate than a pay-per-click. And so right now, anyway, I'm going to be raising the price. It's in a launch format now. It's called, if anyone wants to know what it's called, if they're interested in it, I'm not here to pitch or sell, although, yeah, I mean, why not? Because this is needed for so many people, but I don't want to put something out there unless I know that there's anybody out there that needs it, wants it, or is interested in it. So I'm not just going to say what it is unless one of you comments on the show to say, I want it. It only takes one of you, and that's okay. But I'm cool either way. The great news is, though, we have something that levels the playing field once again. And here's another great story to take this to another level. There are companies already out there, and yours might be one of them, that are using Facebook ads successfully and getting sales from them. And so you already have a converting offer that people do want. It's proven because people are buying it, and you're paying Facebook prices. You're paying a lot of money. First, you have to warm the audience. It's called a lookalike audience. And so what happens is, for the first 30 days, your ad is being tested amongst all the people out there, and it's honing in who your ideal target market is. And the algorithm takes time. It takes around 30 days before you will see that first click or that first lead. Sometimes I've heard others have gotten it sooner, but it takes a long time. And so that was a frustrating point for me personally when I was paying 10 grand a month. That first month I paid 10 grand, and I knew I wasn't going to see a single sale in an entire 30 days and $10,000 of putting out there and paying on top of that for the ad spend for every click that did come in that it was training itself on. It was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And so that was step one. Then Facebook algorithms go into play, and they start working, and they start refining this lookalike audience. So what it comes down to, and this is what I learned from this SEO guru friend of mine, what it comes down to is that once you have spent around a cumulative total of $100,000 on Facebook ads, and so that's over a course of time, then at that moment, by that moment, it's finally got it narrowed in, honed in, tightened up so that most everybody your ad gets put in front is somebody who is a primary high intent buyer. And it knows that through its myriad of algorithms that's been running over months. And the other issue or thing he brought up, I'm getting a little geeky on you, so stick with me. Another thing he brought up is that, to his knowledge, he didn't know for absolute sure, but he saw this pattern. He's really good at patterns. He has predicted so many things that have happened in the SEO world over the past 2 decades. So I tend to believe what he says, even if he's not 100% certain of it. It's his belief is that he saw, and he's had many clients who have paid $30,000 per ad per month. And he said he has not seen anyone go beyond that. So he says, I have a feeling that they are exhausting the inventory of Facebook, and that Facebook isn't allowing any more than 30 grand maximum per ad. I don't know if that's true. He thinks it might be. Let's just say it is, and that you are maxed out 30 grand per month. Well, it takes over 3 months to reach that 100 grand mark. And then boom, the thing's optimized and now banging on all cylinders. Now let's take this lead gen system and compare it. The lead gen system, this company, this is an actual company that did this. They were in the diabetic medical field. And I don't know if it was physical devices or ingest supplements or drugs or what, I don't know. But it was a diabetic company. And what they did, and they were very successful in selling their goods. What they did was they took this lead gen system. They purchased 1,000 leads up front. They took those 1,000 leads and uploaded them into their Facebook ad as their audience. And by doing that, they circumvented all of Facebook algorithms, because it just gave them all of their ideal clients, because those were the clients searching on their keywords that they were looking for, that they want them to look for. Now, within a day, instead of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days plus to get to that $100,000 magic moment where you've got it all dialed in. That's if you're a big player and you got that kind of money to put in a marketing campaign. That's just one ad or one ad set. I don't know how that works exactly, but that's just for fun. That's 3+ months has been reduced down to 1 day. And so they said the bottom line for them, cost of acquisition for a customer before they put this into play, and they were just doing it traditionally through Facebook ads, was $18 per customer. After putting this into play, it went down to $3 per customer. And they were not waiting that additional month, 2 months or more. If they put out a new ad, they would have to start it over. So it's an amazing system. And so it does it both for if you just want to get the leads and then upload them to your lookalike. So if you are a Facebook ad agency owner, maybe you provide this service to your customers, your clients. Oh my gosh, this would set you apart, way apart from everyone else. And you would have the competitive edge. This is brand new. Very few people have their hands on this technology. Very few. And if you're curious at all, we can just have a chat. I'm not going to sell you on it. You have questions, you just reach out and ask me. I will put up or tell you where you can go to schedule that call. But you have to tell me you're interested in knowing it. I know Sharky Ness says, I want it, take my money. But that individual, that individual, I know personally. So sorry, that one doesn't really count at this moment. Anyone have any questions, throw them in the chat box. And so I'm very excited about this because, the lead cost, just so you know, I don't want to act like I'm hiding behind anything. It's a whopping $2.49 per lead, bona fide lead. These email addresses, I've run some tests through my own system. I am in masterminds with another select few individuals who have access to the system. We've all been running tests. And combined with everybody I have worked with, including my own clients, we have not seen one email not get delivered due to it being a old or bad, an email that's no longer associated with that individual. In other words, I've had one or two that did not go through at all, but it turned out the email address was invalid to begin with. It was just invalid. And so the percent of I don't know what the right word is, purity or excellence or correct email addresses is over, it's 99%. You can expect the email addresses to be valid and good, and that they will be delivered because that's a bona fide email address. The phone numbers are a different story. Those are about 50% right now. There's about a 50% likelihood that that one or the other of the phone numbers, some of them give you two. Sometimes they're just not valid. People are changing cell phones and providers and numbers crazy, like a lot more often than email now. And that's one of the reasons behind that. A new feature will be coming soon where those will be, you can pay a little more and get verified phone numbers because they found out through the clients that are coming through the system. Remember, this just started, gosh, end of November, so early December of just this last year, 2023. They're finding out from their very few clients that are coming to the system that some would rather get that lead, get notification that the lead came in, go grab that phone number and pick up the phone and have their sales rep call them. And so when you only have a 50% hit rate, then yeah, they'll be willing to pay a little bit more for a verified phone lead. Plus, if you have a verified phone lead, you're able to, if you want, after they've given you permission, express permission, you can text them later, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't text until you get that permission. So don't even worry about the phone being valid. There's a way to do that. And as far as spam goes, a lot of people say, is this valid? Is this lawful? Can you get called out? Can you get put in jail or fined heavily for emailing these people? And the answer over and over and over, because I've been on many calls where this has been discussed with the guru himself, is the answer is no, it's fine. You're going to be fine. And if by chance somebody does try to come after one of the people that's using the system for that very reason, they have full proof of that person being in the database that they said, yes, I will accept people advertising. People get the Can Spam Act wrong in many ways. The only thing it says, really, you can email. Here's the thing. You can email anybody you want at any time. Anybody you want at any time, whether you've emailed them ever before or not. You can, and you won't get in trouble. All you have to do is provide a way for them to say, do not send me any more, and then abide by that. So if you have an autoresponder, that's called an opt-out link. And make sure it works, test it, stand by it, stand behind it, because if you don't, you could get litigation sent your way. You don't want that. And if you're just sending it manually and they say, don't email me anymore, then, well, make sure you track that. Put it on a do not email list and check it before you send emails out. Just honor their request to say, I don't want any more from you. That's all it is. That's the Can Spam Act. People are calling anything and everything spam anymore. It's gotten ridiculous. It started out primarily being unwanted or unsolicited communication. And now it's become just, I don't agree with you, so I think I'm going to call it spam, even though I asked for your information. And I mean, I've had people where they opt into your list and like, stop spamming me. I'm like, I'm not spamming you. You asked for it. You opted in. Why does everybody think everything is spam? So anyway, it's gotten a little crazy, and spam has gotten a bad rap as a result, as far as what people think you can and cannot do. Now, when it comes to text messaging, that's an entirely different game. Be careful. I would recommend do not text anyone you do not personally know or that has entered their phone number into your CRM or your email. They've sent it to you and said, you can text me. Be careful. That the phone laws are much more stringent, and the penalties are much stiffer for doing that. Can you still do it? Yeah, sure. How do you do it? You ask them. It's like, hey, if you want the information, you send them that email, the first one. It's called a cold email. You send them a cold email and say, hey, if you want more information on this, you can text me at this number and I'll send you the information. If they do that, you're in. You can text them all you want. You got their cell number now. That's fine. Perfectly legit, because they agreed. They texted you. That's one way to do it. You can also send them to a link that has a form that has a phone number field in it to say, if you're interested, click this link. You can do lots of different things. But anyway, the playing field is leveled. I want to do a quick check-in to see who's out there. Raise your hand, say hi. Let me know where you're from at the very minimum. If you want to come on, join me on camera. We got, oh my gosh, we got about 15 more minutes to go. You can come join me on camera. We can have a little chat. If you have a question, be sure to feel free to come on. This is a live show for those of you listening on podcast, by the way. Highly recommend you come to the live version, and you can do that by going to themindbodybusinessshow.com and then scroll, and you'll see many buttons that say where and how to watch. Click on any one of them, and you just simply enter your information. Yep, and I gather your phone number so I can simply have my system text you to remind you that you got the email you requested. That's what I use that for. And that's about it. And then you will get an automated announcement when we go live. A couple minutes before we go live, you'll get the link. You can join us on YouTube from that link, and then you can interact with us and engage and comment and have fun. And also, for those of you sticking with us, and I see most of you are still with me, all but one since the beginning, I'm going to give something away tonight. Who wants a prize? Who wants a gift? Who wants something? It's a phenomenal gift. In fact, I got this idea from Sharky Nast himself. His name's Jason Nast, just so those of you. So you'll see it going across the bottom here. Nope, that's not the one. I want a different one. So stick around until the very end of the show, and then I will show you how you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And this is an amazing, amazing prize. You do not want to leave until I sign off, until after I give you the information on how you can enter to win. One of you lucky people will win this. And these are incredible resorts, and they are all over the world, and you get to choose which resort you get to go to and stay at. It's a vacation stay. You must provide your own travel to and from. I want to be clear. And you must provide I think it's resort fees and taxes, or resort taxes and fees, whatever those are called, which is minimal. It's what every other person pays when they go to one of these resorts or hotels. And then the stay itself, the biggest part of the cost is 100% on us. And so stick around. I'll tell you how to win that incredible prize. Thank you to Jason for letting me know about that amazing opportunity and service. He used to sponsor this very giveaway some time ago, and then I have since done that with my company called Reach Your Peak. So we're doing that. So gonna have some fun with that. And go ahead, drop your questions, say hi, tell me where you're from. I see there's quite a few of you out there. I want to do my best to give you my best. Another great thing, here's a great tip, what it is to be someone who thinks like a wealthy person versus someone who's not. And this just recently came up from talking to another friend of mine, where it was interesting. This individual owns a boat, a good sized boat, and he loves to go fishing. And I'm in Florida now. He's on the other side of the coast. And I was talking to him, and he said he's going to be buying another boat in Florida. I was like, wow, okay, that's quite a scoot for you, isn't it? He goes, yeah. He says, but well, I'm going to charter it out. I said, oh, wow, that's cool. He said, so here's how it's going to work. I'm going to charter it out for 10 months of the year. It'll be in maintenance for another month, hence month 11. And then 1 month of every year, I'm going to use it. That's how the wealthy think. So his boat didn't become a toy. It became an asset. It's going to become an asset. And guess what? He then later shared with me. It got even better. He goes, and I'm going to be buying 11 more. What? So he's buying 11 more yachts to charter boats to put in various locations around the world where he wants to visit for a month, 1 month out of every year. So he's just going to hop from yacht to yacht to yacht for a year, at least 1 year. And, with today, and you have internet, he can still do business if he wants to, if he needs to. He probably has no need to, but that is one way how the wealthy think. So when you are looking at something next time to purchase, think about it from the point of view of a wealthy person, because to the wealthy, these are not just things, they're not just toys, but they are assets, and they find ways to make them either pay for themselves or pay themselves down very quickly. There's all kinds of things like that. In fact, a gentleman, we are now right on the channel on the Gulf of Mexico. Our house is nearly oceanfront. It's just over the street from us is the entire Gulf. And in our backyard, which is over here, I can see it right now, is a channel that was carved out in this neighborhood, is a bunch of channels. And we're literally a 3-minute little, very slow boat ride out to the actual harbor. So it's all ocean water. We see dolphin, we see all kinds of great things. But one neighbor next to us bought a little houseboat, and it needs some repair. But I had a neighbor over, or a friend came over, and he saw that and he goes, "Wow, is that thing even operational? It looks like it could use some help." I said, "Yeah, I think he's refurbing." He goes, "See if he wants to sell it." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we could refurb it. You and I could buy it, and we'll refurb it, and we'll rent it out as an Airbnb." Like, what a great idea. I mean, and then when it's not being rented out, you can go take it out and have a good time and bring your friends. It's a houseboat. I mean, a houseboat. It's got room for people to sleep if they want to sleep, if you want to stay the night over on a nearby island, whatever the case may be. It just goes on. Oh, and then through this entire community where I live, because nearly every house backs up to the ocean in their backyard, which is one of the channels that's been cut out, with docks and boats. We have a boat lift right outside of our back of our house. And another way to make money is, if you don't have a boat to occupy that lift, is to rent it out to someone who does have a boat, who doesn't have oceanfront property. So there's all these great ways that you can be creative and make money. Now, I know not everybody has an oceanfront home, and I get that. I think you get the idea, though, is to look at things that you're about to purchase and see if you can somehow turn them into an asset. Get a house on one side of the country, and then live on the other side of the country while you rent that one out, and then swap, and vice versa, and have more than one property paying for itself by doing it that way. So that is about it. I'm about talked out. I'm going to look at my notes, see if I have anything. So leads are the lifeblood to businesses. You know, that has always been the loudest cry I have heard, including yours truly, from business owners who have been struggling. They said, "My gosh, I need leads to run through my system." Some will say, "I can't even tell if my product is going to be something people want, and so I want to get leads to push through them." It's like, no, you don't want to do that. You're going to waste your money. You want to prove that it is a viable product, that the marketplace wants it, before you start putting money into pouring leads into your quote unquote funnel, or your scheduling system, where you take calls and waste not only money, but now time, because you haven't even proven whether or not this product or service you're offering is something that the market is ready for or wants. And how do you find out if it's ready? You can do all kinds of great things. You can run beta test groups. I did this with a fitness company at one point, where I at that time, I let everybody in for free. I said, "I want you to come in for free if you want to do this, but I'll ask all I ask as return is for you to give me your valid opinion and critique, and let me know not only what you loved, more importantly, what you would like to see done differently." So now I'm getting both. Do they want it? If they say yes to the beta test, that's a good indicator that they want it. Doesn't mean they're going to want it at the price point you're about to sell it for. That happens through them going through the beta test, the testing process, where they are actually utilizing your service or your product for a period of time, finding what it's worth to them, and then being able to provide that feedback to you so you can improve it, so that the perceived value goes even higher. Not only that, but so they get the results they came for. That's the bottom line. And so you can do things like that to prove the concept before you then go pouring in all this money, additional money, for leads and ads and things like that. So just be sure to have something that you know people that you're very certain that people have already purchased, that they have put down money or they put down their time, their valuable time and resources, and gone through, say, a free beta test with you. So be sure to do that. That is it. I'm going to call it a night, except for I know you're going, hey, what about that prize, Brian? What about that prize? So one lucky winner will win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And that is compliments of, you see it right there, reach your peak. To enter to win, you must be watching live, number one. So if you're not watching live, another reason to go to the mindbodybusinessshow.com and enter your information there, because then when you get the notification we're going live, you can be here live and you could win. You could be the next winner. All right, for those of you that are still on, my gosh, you're all still here. I love it. Here it is. I'm going to put it up on the screen and I will say it out loud. To enter to win, you want to go to the website you see on the screen. It is ryp.im/vacation. ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. Do that right away. We will monitor it. Winners will be drawn randomly. You know, there are quite a few people on here. I may even tell my crew to pick more than one this time. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so increase your odds. Just go to ryp.im/vacation. And by the way, all these that are on watching live right now, if you're not getting those automated reminders when we do go live, just the mere fact of our act of opting into this to win this vacation stay will do just that. You will then be opted in. And by the way, you can opt out at any time, because I do follow the can spam laws, and you can opt out if you wish, and you get to still go on the vacation if you want it. All right, that is yours. ryp.im/vacation. Go ahead and enter that to win. And that is that. Fantastic. Okay. I normally close the show with a fantastic final question, but I'm the host and I'm not going to ask myself the question. So it's too bad, because it's usually a very heavy hitting way to end the show. Before we go, finally, I also want to let everybody know I'm very excited about this. Very soon, I mean, any day now, I will be getting that phone call that will tell me that my book is finally published. It has been over 10 years in the making. I was not working on it every day for 10 years. It started 10 years ago. I worked on it some. I stopped and things came up. Then I'd work on it some more. You get the idea. But it is finally, my very first book is coming out very, very soon. What is it called? Oh, you won't believe it. It's called Mind, Body, Business. Yes. And that's really what started this show, was that the whole idea of the book. And I thought, let's make a show out of it. The show has been running for over 5 years now. Yeah, the book, I started much sooner than that. And so this show was inspired by the whole concept of the book. So you can go to mindbodybusinessbook.com. There's no "the" in front of it. It's mindbodybusinessbook.com. And you can't order it yet. You can just put yourself on the waiting list. It'll say order now, and there are buttons in there. It looks like you're going to buy it. Click any of those. It'll take you to an opt-in form. And that way you'll get announcement when we are selling the book. And we're going to be selling it for very little amount of money in the beginning, like 99 cents. Have you seen these before? For a Kindle version, this is one way to get your rankings up higher. I'm just opening up the curtain. So it will be available on Amazon and on, I think is it Noble? I think Barnes and Noble. And that should be happening any day. I'm waiting for that call. The book is done. Editing's done. Cover's done. ISBN number is there. Everything is ready. I cannot wait to unleash that puppy. But for those of you that are still here, guess what? It's time to say good night. I hope you enjoyed the show. I love your feedback. Go ahead and put in comments after we're done. For those of you that have watched this on replay, I would love to hear your thoughts on everything discussed here today. Appreciate you for putting up with just this one talking head for a full hour. And that is it for this edition of the Mind Body Business Show. I am your host, Brian Kelly, and next week we will be back with a guest expert whom I will interview, extract their secrets from, so you can take those secrets, write them down as notes, and then put them into action and achieve incredible, wild success. So Until the next time we meet, please do two things. Number one, go out and crush it in your business, because when you're crushing it in your business, that means you are serving more people, and we all need that. And number two, above everything and all else, please, everyone, be blessed. That is it for me. I am signing off. Take care, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.